Good morning, America. This is JAKED radio station here to bring you back to the 1930s. And this is Annabella Peralta speaking about Franklin D. Roosevelt's first 100 days in office. He once said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." His first 100 days helped America get back on its feet. He used perseverance and graces regain America, in which he immediately acted to restore public confidence. It happened from March 9 to June 16, 1933. Within FDR's 100 days, he signed 15 major bills which led him to declare a national bank holiday, which was closing all banks in the country to prevent a collapse of the banking system. He had a series of economic programs known as the New Deal, and it involved presidential executive orders or laws passed by Congress during his first term. Franklin D. Roosevelt spoke to America through fire chats, which were a series of 30 evening radio addresses given by himself to make him more connected with America. Everyone agreed that the country was perfectly rescued from FDR himself through his own words using the 3 R's: relief, recovery, and reform. From his election to the inaugural speech to signing the New Deal and the fireside chats, it linked him closer to America. Now we have Alexis to talk about the Dust Bowl.
Thank you, Annabella. Good afternoon. This is Alexis reporting about the Dust Bowl of the 1930s. The Dust Bowl was a tragedy in American history. It left thousands of families starved, and it also gave people a newfound hope to move away and find better jobs. For 8 years, dust blew on the southern plains. Children suffered the most during the Dust Bowl. They had to wear dust masks to and from school, and school became depressing for most children. Everything was filled with dust: food, books, backpacks. People fled to California to find better jobs and a new life. Arriving in California, immigrants were faced with a life as difficult as the one they left. Farms were corporate-owned, and crops were made of vegetables and fruits, not of wheat like the immigrants were used to. In conclusion, the Dust Bowl was the worst man-made ecological disaster in American history. Although life was not as great in a new state, immigrants did not have to live with the dust. Now for a commercial break.
Have bad breath? Don't want to use a mint? Wrigley's Gum introduces the new long-lasting chewing gum. Keep your breath feeling fresher longer than any other gum. It's better than a mint because it stays with you. It doesn't dissolve. Have a dirty mouth? Clean it out with Wrigley's Gum.
Tonight, let's get some and live while we're young.
Welcome back to JAKED radio station. I'm Delson Varian, and I'm here to talk to you about the stock market decline. In the 1930s, the economy was in a deep hole, and unemployment rates rose up, and the homeless were countlessly everywhere. Many people pointed fingers at the banks. When the banks closed down, all of their money went with it. Very recently, in 2009, our own economy went into a bad recession. This worried businessmen, entrepreneurs, and bankers alike. One investor states, "I was scared. I should have known that the economy wasn't going to stay stable, and I shouldn't have invested a majority of my money into the bank." Everyone remembers how back in the 20s, a good amount of the population was making it rich. Those who weren't were desperately trying to invest to make millions and put all their money into stocks. However, even some of the biggest celebrities sank into the darkness of poverty. Estimates are that about 25% of the people in the country were unemployed, and that number was rising. Sources also say that it could even be the people's fault. Inflation, due to overconsumption and a surplus of supplies, also led to the decline of the market. The more recent recession was more about marketing prices and investments. Even though the stock market has stabilized again, people have been warier, so just in case another economic decline occurs, people will be ready. I'm Delson Varian with JAKED News. Love the way you talk like no other. It's got nothing to do with anything that I do. And time again you satisfy me. So this time I choose to stay here with you. I can eat you every single day and night. I can't get enough of you. You always taste so sweet, and now I can't get over you. I can't get over you. can't get over you. I just can't get over you. Oreos.
Welcome back to JAKED radio station. This is Jonathan Brown here to tell you about what California was like during the Great Depression. It was reported that checkpoints were added to California's main highways in an attempt to stop migrant workers from entering the state. After the Dust Bowl that occurred on the East Coast, roughly 200,000 people have attempted moving to California. The stock market crashed in October 1929 and lost 80% of its value. Between 1929 and 1932, the income of the average American family reduced by 40%. Mexicans tried moving to the state in search for agricultural work. California state and local governments responded to white farmer owner pressure and implemented repatriation plans to send Mexican immigrants back to Mexico in busloads and boxcars. Once again, this is Jonathan Morale on California status during the Great Depression. Yeah. Cream all in my twink. Lick it off of my pinky. It's the only thing I've been eating. So don't mess with my twink. Twinkie, don't mess with my twink. Don't mess with my twink. Twinkie, don't mess with my twink. Don't mess with my twink. Cream all in my twink. Lick it off of my pinky. It's the only thing I've been eating. So don't mess with my twink. Twinkies will tingle your taste buds. Go buy some.
Hi, my name is Kayla Vines. Let's take a glance back into the 30s, where women gradually formed from extremists to conservative housewives. As the re-election of our president, Barack Obama, approaches, JAKED news station wanted to reflect on America's triumphs and tragedies. Those tragedies that America had suffered are what have shaped the people that we are today. But in particular, I believe that the 30s was the transition period for women to become mothers. Women during the 1930s truly evolved from their carefree lifestyle in the 20s to the modern-day housewife in the dirty 30s. The Great Depression left many women at home taking care of children and holding the family together through the perilous time. The common woman had children and a husband that was suffering from severe pay cuts if he didn't lose his job altogether. Eleanor Roosevelt published a book in 1933 in which she called upon women to use their courage and determination to help their families through this dire economic crisis. Men have always been considered the breadwinners, and now it was time for the women to be the backbone of the family. Although the men were supposed to bring in the money, some women felt as if they needed to provide too. The ambition of women was changing, and it created an independent individual. States tried passing laws that forbid women to work, but by 1938, more than 800,000 women belonged to unions, 3 times the number in 1928. Women had evolved into working moms. The 1930s was a time that women turned a corner unwillingly and made it work for them and their families. As a re-election approaches, we see the world making another landmark, and as we glance back, we see the progress we've made and who we are today. This is Kayla Vines with JAKED News Station.